man. 55. Woo! Sound like I'm a senior citizen, man. That's the senior citizen age, man. 55 plus community. I like it, man.
What are you talking about? You not only do you feel like you're a senior citizen when you see that, bro. That's how fast you be driving. I done convoyed with you. I see you be
55. Yeah, usually in a 40, I'm doing 55. That might be true.
Something tells me you all the way in the left lane doing 55 too. You in the way?
Hey, I spent too much time in Germany, man. You got to move over. You got to move it over.
Yo, Big Red, tell us a little something about that, dog, because a lot of our listeners would never have never been.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new app and searching for a fade fiend, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your wisdom out.
Welcome in, everyone, listeners. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 55. It's titled Sporting a Big Red Suspension. And these are our takes tonight with Big Red. Big Red, how you feeling, baby?
Good, man. 55. Woo! Sound like I'm a senior citizen, man. That's the senior citizen age, man. 55 plus community. I like it, man.
What are you talking about? You not only do you feel like you're a senior citizen when you see that, bro, that's how fast you be driving. I done convoyed with you. I see you be
55. Yeah, usually in a 40, I'm doing 55. That might be true.
Something tells me you all the way in the left lane doing 55 too. You in the way?
Hey, I spent too much time in Germany, man. You got to move over. You got to move it over.
Yo, Big Red, tell us a little something about that, dog, because a lot of our listeners would never have never been on the Autobahn. Is it true that you could drive as fast as you want on the Autobahn over in Germany?
Yeah. So before I get into that, right? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Donato, I appreciate it, man. I definitely listen to all your podcasts, man. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on here. Man, number 55, man. That's crazy. I don't remember the last one I did, what number that one was, but it seemed like it was several ago.
Yes, sir.
But back to the Autobahn, right? So there are stretches of the Autobahn that you can go as fast as you want to. Outside of city limits, there's really no speed limit. One thing you have to understand, though, is those roads are designed for those faster vehicles, right? And people over there drive differently. They know when you're coming up 180, 190 miles per hour, right? Because there's no regulators on those vehicles, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to flash you and you got to get out the way. So that left lane is usually going to stay open for those faster moving vehicles. But yeah, there are areas in the Autobahn that you can open it up and go as fast as you want to. I actually had I had a street bike over there. I had a GSXR. It was just a 600, right? Yeah. But I had my Gixxer over there, man, and I opened that bad boy up on Autobahn. I'm gonna tell you that was scary, but knowing that those roads are designed to go that fast,
yes, sir,
man, it was fun, man. It was fun.
Yo, Red, I heard that y'all have like clean roads, man. Like there ain't no debris, there ain't no like what do we call them? Retread tires on the road because there's people like you on Gixxers going all out. Those $200,000 Benzos and Beamers. Is that true? Is that correct?
Absolutely, man. Those roads are made for it. The tires are made for it. There's that 100% correct. They don't allow certain types of wheels or different types of vehicles. There's different standards over there when it comes to that, because of the safety is such high importance, and because of the speed is something that's kind of in their DNA, right? The Germans. So you're moving as fast. You're moving as fast as you want without having to worry about debris and all that stuff in the road. 100% accurate.
Yo, that's crazy. Hey, I looked it up when we first started there. Sorry for breaking that eye contact, but it was episode 20. That was the last one you were on.
20.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, it's been a while, man. It hasn't been a while. It's been a lot of episodes. Yeah.
Right. We're going to get right to it, man, because I got so much that I want to get in, and I want to be respectful of your time. And I appreciate what you said, but I want to show my appreciation before we get started. Thanks for coming on, brother, because
my pleasure.
As a follower of the podcast, you know where you stand, and I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble with other guests, But let's just say we got to have the Big Red on the pie. I'm just saying.
There it is.
I'm just saying. For sports, you are the first repeat co-host, and
Okay.
I mean there's a lady that has come on for the talk show portion, but for sports, you are our guy. We gonna call you the Big Red correspondent.
Man, that's a lot of pressure, man. I don't want to come up short, man. That's a lot of pressure you putting on.
Oh,
me there,
we ain't
man.
worried about it. You always deliver, baby. You always deliver. I want to get into something. Let me tell you something, and then we're gonna get into the conversation. So 2 games ago, while jogging onto the field, Zach Wilson could be seen turning around to face the sideline. He was looking back at everybody before tripping over his own feet and falling backwards to the ground. The CBS broadcast highlighted the awkward moment, and things worsened still for New York when Wilson threw an interception a couple of plays later. Now, that moment in itself, we're going to talk a little bit more about him, but that moment in itself, we know you played football, and we also know that you played over in Europe. Sir, if that ever happened to you on the field, are you taking off the pads and taking it to the house, or you could play it off? What say you if that happened?
So I think it's a different scenario, right? Obviously, when we played over there in Germany and played some European GFL, and we played some football over there, semi-pro, we don't have all the cameras and broadcasters and all that stuff on us, right? I mean, think about the NFL, right? There's zip lines, there's drones, there's camera crews, there's dude. Let's not talk about the stadium and all the fans, right? So we played in Germany, right? It's American football, right? It's not the football that everybody is glamorous about over there. So we might have had maybe 1,000 people in our stands, maybe field 2,000, depending on if we went to the playoffs and stuff like that. But you trip, you fall, you get up, man. You might play it off a little bit, you know what I mean? You might do a roll or something, I don't know. But I think it's just different because in the NFL, like I say, you're on probably national televised game. Millions of people are going to see it. You're somewhat of a celebrity. So I think that punch is a little bit harder when you're in the NFL and you're a quarterback for the New York Jets, right? On top of that. So yeah, I don't know, putting myself in his situation, I don't know what I would have done, honestly. Me playing European football, I turned, tripped, rolled out, whatever. I made a bad play a couple plays later. Man, I'm going to go to the sideline. I'm going to hang my head. But I don't think it has the same impact like it does being a quarterback for the New York Jets in the NFL.
Now, I say all that because he's the laughing stock. Everyone thinks that with the talent that's on that team, had Aaron Rodgers been there with that quality defense that they have, most people think that the Jets would be better than what they are. So they're 5-8 right now, Big Red. And in their division, they're 2-3. Sorry, they're 2-3 away from home in away games. So I'm just kind of curious. Last week they beat the Miami Dolphins. They beat them handily. When you get to, let me back up. Not last week. I'm getting ahead of myself. They beat the Texans. Sorry, they beat the Texans. They're playing the Dolphins this week. They beat them 30-6. Now, when I tell you that Zach Wilson threw for 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, does this change it in any way to make you feel a little better because he's been the laughing stock all year? Does that show you some promise?
You know what, man? I just think that this is just my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Zach Wilson is one of those. He's one of those guys that. Well, let's just talk about the Jets as a whole, right? I'm gonna go back maybe, I don't know, man. The last 3 years with the Jets, I can't even name all the quarterbacks that the Jets have had, even not alone this season, right? They start off with Aaron Rodgers. So what I like to think about it, and I always look at when I look at quarterback play is I look at those defensive coordinators preparing for that quarterback, who they're going to face, who they're not going to face. And I just, to be honest with you, I think a lot of defensive coordinators write him off. I don't think he's as good as his numbers show his last game. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a decent quarterback. I think there's potential there. He did have a good game, but I would go back to how well that defense, and this is kind of a hit on Houston Texans, right? How well they prepared for him, because he's not that good of a quarterback. I think the numbers are a little bit factuated and a little bit inflated. With this last game, I wouldn't go off of this last game and say he's turned a new corner. He's their new starting quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, he's gonna outperform him by any means, by any stretch. I'm not saying that at all. I wouldn't to me, he's not a good quarterback. I think he had a good game, and I think the defense didn't prepare for him. And D'Amico Ryans, man, he's an old 49er. He's a defensive mind. So that kind of caught me off guard. I thought the Texans were going to handle that. He had a good game, but I think it's more of preparation for Zach Wilson. And he came out throwing, and I didn't think they expected that. That's my humble opinion.
That's what I think. I think they thought they were just going to smash this team, and I'm in agreement. I like your take there, sir, because that's what I think. But for the record, he went 27 of 36, the 301 yards, as I mentioned, no interceptions. He took 4 sacks, so that D'Amico Ryans' defense did okay.
Sure.
But I also want to just tell one, because we don't put people to sleep if we talking about the Jets. But you kind of got to talk Zach Wilson because he's been the laughing stock. For the record, they went into halftime 0-0. Both teams 0-0, and it was in that third quarter that the Jets put on 14 points, and then they finished that fourth quarter by putting on 16. So that's what got it to 30-6. But so it was a second half. I don't know what Robert Saleh said in the locker room to get Zach going, but that second half they got Zach going.
You know what's funny too, is interesting, is both those guys are ex-49er coaches, right? Both of them are defensive coordinators, so that's kind of funny. I can imagine how that chess match kind of went back and forth, and you know what I mean. I bet that was a little bit fun. Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back to you as a football player. I'm going to tell you something, and I want to know your reaction. Alabama's backup quarterback, his name is Ty Simpson. He dropped the ball before crossing into the end zone. Big Red. How do you drop the ball before you get into the end zone? And I think he was really excited and couldn't wait to do his end zone dance, his celebration. Big Red, has that ever happened to you? Could that happen to you?
Doug, you know me better than that. If I'm making it to the end zone, I'm running to the back of the end zone. I'm not dropping the ball. Any indication of getting rid of that ball early, I'm securing that ball all the way through the end zone. It's just, we've seen this time after time. Like, how many times are we going to see this and still talk about this? We're in 2023, man. How are guys still doing that? It's beyond me, man. Especially with all the cameras, the angles, everything that we see nowadays. There's no, that was a close one. Get the ball across the line, run through the back of the end zone before you drop that ball or throw it out of your hands or prepare for your dance. I mean, I don't know. It's never happened to me. And if I was still playing, it dang sure wouldn't happen to me. I guarantee you that.
Big Red, there's always that one guy. Normally it's a quarterback. They're so fast. Trust me, I've never gotten a lot of breakaways. I always have more of that juke. You know, I'm not the sprinter. I'm not an Olympic sprinter. But the few times that, I had a little free space in front of me, there's always that cornerback, which is normally the fastest defender on the field. Sure. They run in with all that they have to get you. So for any reason, you got to act like you've been there. This guy, Ty Simpson, he's playing at the highest level. How does he not know that there are really fast dudes that are trying to get you, hopefully right before you get to the end zone? That's not when you let up.
No, hey, guys, I know you've seen it before, right? We're talking about European football, NFL. You go to NFL stadium, you got the big monitor up there. You see guys that are running, and they're looking at the monitor to see if anybody's behind them, right?
Yes, they are.
Look, man,
yes, they are.
These guys know they got to be situational aware of who and what's around you. Somebody sprinting down. Hey, that cornerback wanted more than him. He wanted, you know what I mean? Like, it's embarrassing.
Yes.
It's definitely uncalled for, and I think it's just an idiot play, man. It's just. I mean, I don't know how that happens, man. Like I said, we're in 2023. We've seen this time and time again at different stages, different levels of the game of football, and we still have guys doing play, jog it into the end zone, throwing the ball before they get into the end zone, dropping it short of the line, stepping out. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever get it.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'm that guy. I'm not as fast as those corners, but I'm that guy that's running that guy down.
Yes.
On a pick 6, 99 yards down, I'm running that guy down. You know what I mean? And I don't care how much breakaway speed he has. He gets there. I'm waiting for him to do some dumb stuff. Slow down, high step it, hold that ball like we used to call it, like a loaf of bread. You know, I'm waiting for that, man. I'm waiting for my opportunity, man. So,
Big Red, I never gave up on a play because I feel like I'm Superman. And I could be that one that could chase him down.
Oh, I know.
With the angle, maybe not with the angle. Even if I can feel it, yo, you know that feeling. You know you're all out, but it ain't closing. That gap ain't closing. I'm not catching them. But you're still in your mind, you're thinking, I'm thinking, I know everybody is built like that. Nah, I'm going to get them. Like irrationally, possibly, I think I'm going to get them. I know you know what I'm talking about. I could be that guy that can knock it out right at the end.
I'm gonna give you an example, right? Just real quick. I won't say it's off topic. It's actually on topic, but I'm gonna stray away a little bit. There was one time, I don't know if you were there or not. I don't even remember who we were playing, man. It was a 2-point conversion. We were going for a 2-point conversion. I think it was a close game. Yeah. I didn't fumble the ball. I was playing running back, but I think it was a quarterback keep or something. Anyways, the ball was fumbled. Defense recovered it on a 2-point conversion. So the guy picked it up, and he's doing a scoop and score running back. Yeah, everybody's looking at this guy. I went to a dead sprint, and like everyone's still at the end zone, the goal line, and this dude is running. And I ran this dude down. I want to credit myself like a DK Metcalf. Right? I ran this dude down, tackled him, but you do the arm tackle, the punch tackle.
Yes.
Knocked the fumble out of him. There was nobody around to recover it. After I knocked him out, I picked the ball up, run it back, and I scored 2 points.
No.
My coach gave me the game ball. I was like the topic of discussion in the locker room for probably like 2 or 3 weeks, man, of just the effort, the no quit attitude. I mean, it just, and we're playing German, so they're saying it in German, and it probably had a little bit more impact than what I'm saying. But man, that coach, the coach was highly, he just spoke highly of me. He was super proud of the way I went down and handled that. And then I don't know if we ended up winning that game. I couldn't tell you that, but that play right there always sticks in my mind, how I ran that dude down. I caught him probably about the 50-yard line.
Yeah. It's never over until it's over. And
exactly.
It's because of stuff like that. You're a hustler. I'm a hustler. I have been overmatched in my life, but what I know is you feel accomplished if you've given your best effort. I'm not saying I've won everything, but I know that if someone bested me, I at least made them earn it. And I'm all right with that. I'm all right with the turnout.
And we've played, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, like I think we have that saying. I can definitely relate to what you're saying. And I've witnessed it firsthand, right? Donato, I've seen you. We've been on the field. We've been in the court together. So I think me and you are alike in many ways like that. Like, I think one time we were playing basketball, we kept running it back. We're like, we ain't going to lose to these guys. We're going to lose these guys. And then at the end, we were ready. And they're like, oh, we got to go. Like, come on, man. Let us run it one more back. Come on.
Which in itself is a win.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I want to get to another one. This is a shock. We're going to go to NBA for a quick second. I don't think anybody thought that the Oklahoma City Thunder were going to be in the 3rd place in the West. They are currently. So the only 2 teams ahead of them, Red, is the Denver Nuggets, who just won the championship, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Does that shock you? I don't think you would have had them. You wouldn't have had them over the Lakers, the Kings, the Mavericks.
Not in that division, no. They're a good team, but throughout that division to have them I wouldn't have expected it. That's a tough division. So no, I didn't expect them. Remind me real quick. Was this last time we talked on an episode 20? We had talked about I forgot who it was. Was it Terry? Somebody had mentioned like they had 3 first-round picks or something, some European guys playing. Was that OKC that we were talking about?
No, they were talking about the Orlando Magic.
Magic, that's right. All right, all right. Yeah, that's another one that's actually doing better than expected.
But that brings me to what I was going to say. So you're still at the same point. So they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's a point guard. He's 25 years old. He's a 6'6" guard. He played at Kentucky. He makes $33 million a year. You know, that's big dog money. So they're paying him like the big dog. He's the highest paid guy on that team.
Sure.
And he's representing. He's doing his thing. Then they also have a few other players to round out their schedule. There's actually a negative thing on that team I want to talk about, but we'll probably come back to that later. I would not like to do that right now on this podcast. But they have this guy. He's a power forward. He's 7'1". He came out of a Gonzaga over there in Washington State. He's making $10 million a year because he's on that rookie. He's a rookie. He says that he's going to be a 50, 40, 90 guy in his rookie year this year. And most people thought he was crazy. He's currently shooting 56, 46, 91. So 56% from the field, 46% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line. Before I answer this question, hey, Red, can you shoot 91% from the free throw line?
Man, why are you going to put me on a spot like that, man? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I might get like, hey, I'll be in the 80s, though. I'll be in the 80s.
That's respectable. How about sorry. How about this? Hey, Red, can you hit 46% of your threes?
Man, me and my son do this. We count out of 10. Man, the best I've probably done was 6 out of 10, and that's not every time. 40% from the. You said 40%.
46. So that you might want to round that up to 50 or 5 shots.
Yeah, man. On a good day, I might be that. But through a season, no, it ain't happening, man.
Yo, I do that a lot, especially me and my wife when we shoot. We do that best out of 10. And to me, 10, I always judge myself. I have to at least make 3 out of 10. And I normally do that.
Yeah.
But if I make 3 out of 10, you're shooting 30% from 3. That's, for me, that's tolerable. That's tolerable. Yeah. But I may be confusing the NBA and a batting average with that 30%. So you can judge me. So
and just to be fair, when I'm in the gym shooting, I'm not NBA 3. I'm top of the key 3, whatever they have on the court right there. NBA 3. So I'm pretty, that's
yes, sir. I'm not launching when I do launch those deep ones, which ain't often. I'm not keeping track. That's just a one-off, and I just want to throw it up just to get it up. But I don't count those. I'm not built like that. I think that's the generation after us.
Sure. Yeah. No doubt.
And now that's the perfect segue. So when I talk about this next thing, we're gonna merge a couple generations: your son's generation and your generation. Who's got the better handles? Kyrie Irving from now, your son's generation, or Allen Iverson from your generation? Who's got the better handles?
Man, so I'm biased, right? I'm an old head, right? I'm officially an old head. I got AI, man. Like it's just I can't. The handles, man. It's just AI and the handle. They just go hand in hand, man. Don't get me wrong, man. Kyrie, what he's able to do, the way he's able to dribble the ball, it's a different generation, like you said. But man, for his time, AI was definitely ahead of its time when it came to those handles. And I've watched him a little bit more, and maybe that's kind of leading to my biased opinion. But you asked me 7 days a week. I'm gonna say 7 days out of the week. I'm gonna have to go with AI for handles. I'm sorry.
My answer, Red, he crossed Jordan.
Yep.
Say no more.
Yeah.
You did that on Jordan.
Yeah.
You good.
Props.
You don't need nothing else.
Yeah, you hold the crown.
You know who Cheetah is. I'm going to take it back to the NFL just quickly. You know who the Cheetah is. When I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got that. I'm glad you did that. For those who are just listening on the audio, Big Red threw up the peace sign. Big Red, Tyreek Hill was told not to throw up a peace sign after he scores by the referees before the game 2 games ago. And he was mic'd up, and that's how we got that and found that out.
Okay.
They told him not to throw up the peace sign. That's
This is
also
the
a little
first-
respect because they saying, bro, we know you're gonna score.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
what do you have a problem
Hey,
with throwing up the peace sign?
What if it was the second touchdown of the game? You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
So here's my take on that, right? I didn't hear that. This is the first time I'm hearing that about the peace sign. They told him not to do that. Man, we're in a time where I think every single if a defense gets an interception, if the defense turns the ball over, they're in the end zone doing some kind of skit, celebrations. To single out a player like that, man, in my opinion, man, is really uncalled for, man.
Great.
And it's like it's anything that's.
I gotta jump in because I want to bring some drama right quick, and I want to get this drama to you right now. This is where we make him turn red, listeners. This is where we're gonna make you turn red. Yo, Red.
Yeah.
You chasing a dude down. You can't catch him. You ain't closing on him. If he throws up that peace sign in front of you and then he crosses, you never caught him. He crossed that goal line. You pissed, homeboy? Are you pissed that he threw up that peace sign on you?
No, I play in an era where I'm gonna get you back. First of all, I don't care if I got a PI. I don't care what I got to do. You're not scoring on me like that next time. So you might give me once. You might give me once, right? And it's not look. You might not see my emotions. You might not hear. But I'm gonna get you back later on in the game. I'm gonna bet you next time we see each other, you ain't doing it to me again.
He got you once, but he ain't gonna get you twice.
He ain't gonna get me twice.
We threw up the peace sign. That's what we did for those who ain't. Okay, I thought I had you on that because I thought you seem like a fiery competitor, and like you just said.
I'm not one to
because it's taunting.
Like,
that's what they're saying.
Yeah, my personal opinion, and we go back to the podcast. You know me for a long time, Donato. Yeah. I don't like to showboat. I don't like to celebrate. I'd rather speak with speak with my play, speak with my actions and stuff like that. So I'm not a huge fan of that, right? But I don't see. I mean, we see it all the time, right? He's turning back and giving the peace sign and stuff like that. Yes, I mean, dude. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Speaking of sportsmanship, right? We're talking about the cheetah, right? That I think he's earned that right, man. In my opinion, right? We're not talking MVP or anything like that, but let's give it to a receiver this year, man. I think he definitely is in the running and definitely should get that. I don't see Tyreek Hill as a crap talker. I don't see him as, showboat. He might do a backflip. He might throw the peace sign and stuff like that, but he doesn't come off to me like one of those showboating guys who he actually speaks with his actions. And that's one of the times I think that I'm okay with the showboating. I'm okay with the peace sign. I'm okay with the backflip, especially when it's a deserving play like that. If you burn me and you're 10, 15 yards in front of me, give me the peace sign as you're slowing down, high stepping it into the end zone. There's nothing I can do about it, man. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be really upset, but I'm gonna get you back next time. I'm gonna remember that, and it's gonna be instilled in me. And you ain't getting that open on me. I'm either gonna keep you in front of me, or I'm gonna, I'm gonna figure something. Like I said, there's gonna be some pass interference. There's gonna be some holding. There's gonna be something, man, before you do that to me again. But I'm not about showboating. I'm not a huge fan of that. But in this situation, man, Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, man, he's a different breed, man. And he speaks with his actions, man. I think he's one of the. I think he's, in my opinion, he's probably the most valuable player in the NFL this far.
I wouldn't fight you on that. This could be a great time for a wide receiver to get it. He is putting on a show. It's incredible.
Take him out of the game and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like he got injured last week. It's a whole different offense with him out of the field. When he's not out there on the field, he's an impact player for sure. Definitely changes the game.
So I made the mistake when we were talking about it, and I was on the wrong week. But if the Jets are playing the Dolphins this week, and then they beat the Dolphins, and now they got a 2-game win streak, because he did get hurt last week.
They ain't beating the Dolphins.
So it ain't gonna happen.
I know you already gave him the credit earlier in the podcast by saying that they beat the Dolphins, and I was like, all right, he must know something that I don't know. All right, but I'm not gonna give Zach Wilson. I'm not gonna give the Jets that much credit. Even if Aaron Rodgers was playing right now and he came back from his injury, I don't know. But then again, right, we're on this subject. Miami really hasn't impressed me too much either. They haven't beat too many. Their strength of schedule, in my opinion, is hasn't been that good of their wins, right?
Yes.
But they're going to handle the Jets. I almost, if I was a betting man, I'd go and put some money on that. I don't think the Jets are going to beat them. Zach Wilson had a great game last week. It's not going to happen again. Defensive coordinator is going to get ready. They're going to prepare for him, and I don't think it happens again. Now, you get me on next episode, and we're talking about this, and they lose, and it's probably going to be a blank screen right here, man.
Yeah. You're going to be shocked. Does the name Hidetoro Hanada mean anything to you?
Nah. It sounds like a player for the LA Rams if I had to guess.
It's a hashtag.
It's a hashtag.
Hashtag Hidetoro Hanada. Well, he's a Japanese Yokozuna. A Yokozuna is the highest ranked sumo wrestler. Well, he pursued his desire to come to America and play college football. He signed with Colorado State, the Rams. And so you were close on the Rams. You said the LA Rams. That you were going with the LA Rams, right? But hey, you had the Rams. The hashtag Rams have gone the extra mile, and they customized his jersey, his nameplate, to display his name in kanji. If you don't know, that's the lettering of traditional Japanese letters. That's how it looks. So, what do you think about that? That's the way they did that, right?
So I just feel right. My opinion is when you cater to one player. You started something. You open up a can that you might have to be prepared to start. You might have to start catering to other players.
There for a second, we didn't get all that.
Okay, yeah, I just think that when you cater to one player, and you know, I think it's a huge honor, right? But I think when you cater to one player, you open up that can of worms that you're going to have to start catering to everybody. Now you're going to want guys who are going to want Old English lettering on the back of their jersey. They're going to want their native. You know, it's just. You know, we know in college football too, a lot of guys don't even get their names on the jersey. They just have the school name, they have their number. That's about it. I mean, it's just I think it's an honor. I think it's something that it's pretty cool. It's a good story. I just think that it's going to open up a can for something down the road. And you've catered to one player. Be prepared that you're going to have to cater to the other guys on that team, or maybe even throughout the college football league or something like that. But I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a cool story. I'm not a fan of it, just for the simple fact. And you know, this whole thing with the with not, I won't even say the NFL, right? Well, I'll say the NFL trying to rebrand themselves and trying to reach out to you know, the rest of the world. Let's say, right? We got these European games going. We got mandatory games overseas, things like that. I understand what the big picture for college football for the NFL is. And I just think, man, like, do you ever see soccer teams coming over here and playing? Do we cater to those guys? Like, I don't know, man. It's a different take on me. I just think that when you do that, you open yourselves up to you catering to everybody now, and just be prepared now that you're going to have requests and you know, everybody's going to want something special or something done and things like that. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah, no, I get that. We're going to stay in college football. Colorado State ain't going to be playing in that next year. I put money on that. But on January 1st, we're going to have the college football playoff. And, you know, this is the last year before they expand themselves out to 12, which would have been a very necessary thing to do this year.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about. I want to talk about the games that we do have, and then we're going to talk about the games we don't have. So what we do have, we have the first game that's going to come on earlier in the day. Number 4 Alabama versus number 1 Michigan, and that's in California at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Big Red, you're from California. You know a little bit about that Pasadena love, and I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts. The Rose Bowl. Who will be the Rose Bowl champion? Michigan or Alabama?
So, look, I'm just tired of the SEC getting a bye on everything.
Yeah.
I think Alabama snuck in. I don't think they rightfully should be there, and I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I think Michigan is gonna hand it to them. Now, I will say Alabama has gotten better as the season went on. They've definitely improved. There's a lot. I think Michigan has a lot to prove with a lot of the drama that they're facing over there. I think Harbaugh has a lot to prove, but I just think right. So the college football playoffs, it's a, what do they call it? An eye test, right? How they kind of look at these guys like that. My eye test tells me that Michigan is going to beat Alabama. That's my eye test. I know everybody has their different opinions and everybody has their say so, and we can pull up stats and we can look at who they've played and strength of schedule and stuff like that. But I think even that goes in Michigan's favor personally. But I think the Rose Bowl, man, I think it's going to be Michigan.
So you are spot on when it comes to the defense. Michigan they're actually the number one points against defense in all of college football, and teams are only averaged 9.5 points against them. So yeah, that's a great defense that they have. As far as scoring, they're number 13 in all of college football because they average 36.7 points. So let's round that up to 37. So 37-10 is what they've been smacking people around on average this year. But Alabama scores 35 points and they give up 18. So they normally double up people. So that just kind of tells you a little bit about that. When it comes to passing yards, Alabama averages 228 and Michigan is 218. So that's close, 10 yards, not big of a difference, right?
Yep.
And then when it comes to rushing the ball, time management, grinding it out, Michigan averages 162 yards and Alabama averages 172. So about 10 yards difference there. So that tells me, Red, it's going to be a close game. So are you saying it's going to be a blowout, or are you saying it's going to be a close game but still goes to Michigan? I want to get you to come a little bit more clear on that.
So I'm gonna call it right now. I'm gonna say 27-17. That's my prediction.
10 points.
10 points.
On the season, they're only separated by just about 2 points in what they score. Okay. All right. I hear you on that. I think you're wrong.
All right.
But here's what I know. Harbaugh is back. They had to play those 3 games without him. I think that was their fuel.
Sure.
But now that he's back, the chip is off their shoulder. I don't think that he can get them boys mad enough to be like, yo, the fools had the audacity to take me off and y'all still did y'all's thing. But I'm back now, baby. And we about to go out there and show them that we belong to be here. We are here. We're going to get this national championship. Well, this game is the national championship, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, to get the opportunity to play for the national championship.
Can that work? Can that work, Red?
Absolutely. I think Harbaugh still has a leg. I think he's still preaching that. I don't know. You've heard of these guys time and time again, especially with these rival teams, right? Playing, videos or clips of certain things over and over just to hype the guys up. But I mean, I think Harbaugh can go into that locker room and pump these guys up. That's sign stealing. The allegations, they're not allegations, right? I guess it came out. I mean, he was suspended, so it's not even an allegation at this point. But they suspended him. It happens through sports in general, right? We won't go into baseball or anything like that, but it happens. And it's like I don't even want to say it's a gray area. It's not illegal, right? But I think he still has that chip in his shoulder. They suspended him for 3 games. I think he's still pissed off, and I think that carries him. And I think that's what he's riding that wave on is that suspension and having his guys come out and play for him. We already know his coach that filled in for him. We know he's very passionate, right, about Coach Harbaugh, man, and he's willing to cry on national TV for a win for him. Imagine how those players feel if that's one of his coaches, man. I think he's gonna push that scenario, and that he's pushing that storyline, and I think it's going to guide them all the way to the national championship.
So you think that
they're a good team? They're a good team without him, hyping them up. They were a good team before all this. They have a really good team. That defense is I think the number is it the number one defense in college stat wise? Yeah, that defense. So I'm giving 17 to Alabama. I originally I was going to say 10. I just don't. That defense is. I've seen that defense again. The eye test. I've seen that defense. I watched that defense throughout the year, throughout the season. Me personally, I'm going to go 27. So I'm going to give him an extra 7 points on that in my original 10. I'm going to go. I don't think Alabama scores more than 17 points.
Red, I got to press you on that. That's what we here for, though. We want to give the people what they want, and what they want to know is what you smoking, Red. So they only beat Ohio State by 6 points, 30-24. Just that was number 2 in the country. They barely got over them boys. You can't say, I know a win is a win, Red, but you can't say that was a blowout. And then right before that game,
Georgia.
Maybe they were looking ahead to Ohio State. They only beat Tua Tagovailoa's little brother 31-24. So they only won that by 7. Now they beat Penn State by 9. So that was a I don't even want to say that was a tough 3-game stretch there because Maryland's not even ranked. But
sure.
Red, you sure you still want to stay on that?
I stand by 27-17. Bring me on. Okay, January 1st. Whatever your podcast is after that. If they win, I'm gonna be here. If they lose, you're gonna have a black screen.
Wait a minute. You're gonna face the music. You know what though? Maybe we do that, Red. Since you brought it up, maybe on January 2nd when we finally wake up, because we're gonna be up late that night watching that game, and I might be sipping on, so we can't do it like right after the game. But maybe we do a recap.
That might not turn out too well.
You and I should do a recap on January 2nd with our mimosa. No, sorry, we can't have a mimosa because we're trying to get over from the previous night.
Yeah.
Sipping on. Maybe we have some OJ.
Yep, definitely
clear
OJ.
our minds, and when we're clear, we come back and just do a recap of the game. That might be fun. I might be interested.
Hey, I'll face the music. If I'm joking about the blank screen, right? I'll face the music. But that won't be I'm pretty confident that won't be the scenario. But yeah, we'll do it.
Okay. I'm curious that. Okay. So then let's talk the other game.
Okay.
Number 3 Texas versus number 2 Washington Huskies. Now this one is at the Caesars Superdome. So that's the Sugar Bowl. That's down there in New Orleans. There's gonna be a lot of distractions, man. That's gonna be a lot of distractions for both teams. New Orleans is tough. Aside from Miami, I was gonna say them New Orleans streets Bourbon Street is undefeated. But so who do you got? Texas Longhorns or Washington Huskies?
So I know you're gonna hate me for this, man. I know you know where I'm going already. I'm out there with Washington, man.
Ooh, okay.
I think I know I made that comment about the SEC earlier and sneaking in and stuff like that with Alabama, but Texas, the eye test for me, man. I'm gonna go back to the eye test. I don't see it, man. I think Washington has a better offense. I think they're better coached. I think Texas squeaked in, and I think that's gonna be a blowout.
Good. I'm glad you said that. And I'm not mad. I mean, maybe you was trying to. For those listeners who don't know, I'm based out of Austin, Texas, but I pledge no allegiance. I be where I be, and I'm at where I'm at. But that ain't my college team. I don't reveal that. I don't say that into the airwaves because I'm a fan of the game, and I want my listeners. I want to give takes as a fan of the game. So I will never, on this airways, say what my favorite team is. But Big Red, you done messed up, right? You done messed up. This is where I hit you with a stat.
All right, let's go.
I brought you on for your opinion. You're doing a great job, by the way, sir. We appreciate you. We love having you on. But, bruh, Washington defense, they give up 24 points a game. They are 50th in the nation, and they score 38 points a game. So they win games 38-24. They normally get 2 touchdown wins over everybody. Hey, is that your final answer? You
What's
you want to?
Since you got them stats right there, what's Texas giving up?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, my screen went blank there. Okay, so
30.
Texas is well, okay, all right. That's gonna be good here. So Texas is 36 points a game that they score, and 18 points that they give up. So they double up everybody, but 18 of a difference and 14 of a difference from the other. That ain't a lot. That ain't a lot. But what I can tell you, Red, there's a big difference though. Giving up 18 points a game puts you in the top 15 in the nation. Giving up 24 points a game, that puts you at number 50 in the nation.
Sounds about right.
So that's a big difference when in the totality of all the games and all the points have been scored. Now, when it comes to running the ball, Washington is 100th. Bruh, they're not even top 100. They only average 125 rushing yard. Red, the way you run, something tells me that's what you average by yourself. And then now we do know Michael Penix. That dude he be tossing that pill around. He averages 343 yards a game. That's a lot. That's number one in the nation.
That's a lot.
Number one in the nation. But I think you knew that. So I gotta come on the other side. Texas, ball control, time clock management, because Washington's gonna need that rock to score.
Sure.
Texas runs the ball and they average 190 yards a game, Red. That's a lot of clock management.
So I think that's where the offset is going to come, right? Running the ball, managing the clock, throwing the ball, running the clock. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Let's not forget, though, man, Texas, we're going to New Orleans. They're too many distractions over there, man. Texas ain't gonna know how to act over there, man.
Well, wait, hold on. What makes you think them Huskies gonna know how to act? They leave in Washington State. Don't nobody go to Washington State to party. Shout out to my listeners in Seattle. I got some people there, but y'all know it. Ain't nobody coming to Seattle. When's the last time I've been to Seattle to visit y'all? Exactly. Red. Who going up to Seattle to party?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point.
They're gonna be distracted. Red, have you ever been to Seattle?
I have actually, yeah.
You did you like it?
I call Seattle. Please, I hope nobody's offended, but I call Seattle the Walking Dead. It's just it's like zombies over there, man. I don't know, man. It's something different.
I did not know we was gonna go this hard on Washington State.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry for any of the listeners out there. I apologize, man. Again, you asked for my opinion, and I'm gonna give you my opinion. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, man. I call it the Walking Dead. I've been to Seattle twice, and yeah, it's like a zombie apocalypse out there every time I go there, man. It's just. Yeah, I see what you're getting. Either they're partying really hard over there, or they ain't got nothing going on. So I see where you're going with that. But I just think I just think the eye test for me is Washington and that high powered offense, especially with slinging that ball, man. I just think that they're gonna put up a lot of points, man, and they're gonna do it quick.
Okay. So you mentioned it when we started, so I got to come back and let me just give you something. College football playoff executive director, his name is Bill Hancock. He responded to U.S. Senator Rick Scott and several other Florida congressmen over their demands for full transparency. Let me knife hand you so you know how serious this is. Red, we want full transparency. From the selection committee about why undefeated Florida State was left out of the playoff. Bro, we got senators involved in football?
Yeah, man. Hey, if this was the military, that would be like a congressional or something. I don't know, man.
Yo, but Red, you started by saying this, bro. You don't feel bad that Florida State got left out? You a football player.
No,
you did what you were supposed to do.
I think Florida. I think they got robbed because their backup quarterback, because their quarterback got hurt. Me personally, I don't think that should have to weigh in to anything. I think there's enough stats out there. There's enough. There's enough out there. We're all smart, and we live in an era where we can pull up stats, and we got spreadsheets, and we got formulas and stuff like that. I mean, there's the human part of it, and there's, like I kept referring to, the eye test, right? And let's be honest, right? It's about making money. Nobody wants to see a second string quarterback go out there and possibly get blown out. And maybe not. Maybe it's that guy's time to shine, right? But I think they got the raw end of the stick on this, and I think Florida State should have been in the. They should have had a chance to go and play for the title. They should be one of those top 4.
I want to say a name to you, and I want to get your reaction. I want to know if you know it. Cardale Jones. Do you know that name?
Cardale Jones. Cardale Jones. Sounds familiar. I'm trying to associate the name with the position, not the position. I guess the position. Go ahead and enlighten me.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I thought his name was Lindale. I thought his name was Rob Dale. I thought his name was something else. So I had to look it up when this all popped into my head. Cardale Jones was the quarterback who played college football at Ohio State. He started for the Buckeyes during the inaugural college football playoff national championship. He led Ohio State to the title. Cardale Jones, if you remember, he was the 3rd string guy that year when they went to the playoff.
Okay.
This is kind of the same thing of what I'm saying.
What year was that?
2014.
14, okay.
So here's what I got to tell you. They beat number 11 ranked Wisconsin. They beat them 59-0. That was his first game taking the place of JT Barrett, if you remember that dude's name.
Yep.
And then that was on the eve of the NCAA football committee's. That was the first ever playoff selection.
Okay.
And he was named MVP. Then he got his second start of his career when they played Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, and they won that 42-35.
Yeah.
So there's some symmetry there.
Absolutely.
And then that's when they made it to the national championship against the Oregon Ducks. And again, they beat the Oregon Ducks. Well, you already know because you know they ain't got no national championship. 42-20.
Yep.
Now, I say that to say this. When that starter went down, them boys was undefeated. I think they were 11-0 at that time. They were undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went to the backup, sort of like Florida State. But they won the game. Now, they blew them out 59-0. Florida State struggled against Louisville. I think it was 3-0 going into the 3rd quarter. And everyone was like, y'all can't even score on Louisville?
Yeah.
So all I want to say to you, Red, is they did what they were supposed to do. Even with the backup quarterback, it wasn't pretty.
No.
And I think, Red, here's where I input my conspiracy theory. I think it was about money.
Absolutely.
I think they said we don't want another blowout. We don't want them to get blown out.
Yeah.
Because that ain't gonna be good. People ain't gonna watch. And then that's why they made the move. That's what I think. I think it was about money. That's
no. Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with. That's why I alluded to earlier when I said nobody wants to see that game. It's all about making money, filling those stands, giving the fans what they want. Sometimes it's maybe not be the 4 best teams, but what 4 teams are going to be the best entertainment or the biggest names up there. And I hate to say it, all right, SEC. But I think that's why Alabama's up there. I think Florida State should have had Alabama's spot.
Yeah, but
it's Alabama. Like the name, you know what I mean? It's Alabama, man. Between them or Georgia, we're gonna have one without the other. So I do understand that.
Okay, and if you understand that, why didn't Georgia get in? They done won like 29 games in a row. They lost 1 game.
Yes, that's
to
another
Alabama
one.
by a slim margin, and so the legacy's dead. Like, for real?
Yeah, you know what, man? What did they? They had 3. They made 3 appearances in the last. They made 3 appearances in the last 3 years. If I'm not mistaken, Georgia. They should have had like an open invite. You know what I mean? They should have had. They should have secured. They should have had like their name on that, etched in that, and they should have gotten into by default. You know, but
especially how they lost 27-24 against Alabama. It's not like they rolled over.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a great game.
It was a good game.
And yeah, So because
But the other thing is Georgia knew they had to win that to go to be one of those top 4, and they didn't pull it off. That was at stake for them. Good teams win when they need to when they need to win. And for me, it's almost like a 4th and 1, right? If you can't get 1 yard on one play, whether you have all these plays, you have all these guys out there, then man, I know it's tough. It's 1 yard is a lot to do, but when you need that 1 yard, you're gonna find a way to get that 1 yard. You got to find a way to win when you need it. It was either win and get in for them, and they could have beat them by 1 point, meaning Georgia beating Alabama at 1 point, but that win would have held up, and they didn't pull it off. Right. Alabama's got momentum. Alabama, they started off slow, and they built momentum, and they developed. I mean, it's a good team. Don't get me wrong. Alabama is a good team. I'm not going to say that they shouldn't have been in, but I just think that name holds a lot of weight. And I feel really bad for Florida State and the players of Florida State, for that organization, those players, because they did everything they were supposed to do. And due to something being out of their control, they are not going to be playing for a national championship. And
we're expanding the playoff next year anyway, dog.
Yes.
We're going to 12. This is what you should have done. You should have expanded it this year. Make it 6 teams. Go ahead and put the Florida State in.
Yeah, that's
it happened.
That's kind of what I thought. Like there was some. I don't know if it was the rumor mill or what, but I had heard something about the committee meeting and maybe doing something crazy just because that let's look at the whole year with COVID, right? That kind of messed everything up. There was a lot of teams who didn't want to expand, and I think Texas was one of them. Going to the 12-team playoff, things like that. But I was really hoping, man, that they were going to come back and maybe open up 6 slots, just do something out of the ordinary. So last year, what does it matter? Bring two in. Georgia and Florida State would have came in. You would have had everybody happy. It would have done. I mean, money wise, that would have been something that would have been good for college football.
Would you have complained about that? Would you have complained if they would have done that?
Probably not, because that's more football, man. Yeah, as a fan, I would not have complained at all. I think they should have went to the 12-game playoff years ago.
Because at the end of the day, you could say we did it for fairness.
Yeah,
because I believe
and as a fan, I would say you did this for the fans. You know what I mean? You did this for the fans. You did that for those guys who, like I talked about the Florida State guys, those guys who did everything right. You're doing it for those guys who don't have a voice in this matter. It would have been something when it came out
anyway, Red.
Exactly. That's why
it's still happening, because guess who Georgia is playing in their bowl game, the Capital One Orange Bowl down in Miami. They're playing Florida State. Yeah. So they're gonna play each other anyway.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't have the same impact. Yeah.
So, hey, who you got in that game? Number 6 Georgia or number 5 Florida State?
Ooh, man. Well,
in Florida though.
I'm gonna go with Georgia, man. I'm gonna go with Georgia.
That game, they could travel. Their game can travel all the way down into Miami.
Yeah, I think so.
Miami Streets was undefeated, Red.
Man, I think Georgia's a really good team, man.
Yeah, they are. That's gonna be a good game.
And they're well coached. They are well coached.
I think that's gonna be a good one. All right, Red. I want to finish by one last take before we get out of here. The time flew, Red.
Yeah, it did. Sure did.
Did you watch the in-season tournament for the NBA?
I watched the last game. I did.
What'd you think of that last game?
Man, you already know I'm a Lakers fan, so it's first of all, I don't know what they're doing with those courts, right? It was so hard to watch the game with them, right? Like I thought I was playing a video game or something. It was really hard to watch those games. But no, I mean, you really seen guys putting it all out there on the court. I want to say, from a fan of the game, I kind of, when I first heard about the in-season tournament, I thought it was kind of going to just be, the guys are going to get out there. They're going to, go to, time management. They're going to, rest their guys, and nobody's really going to care. But these guys gave it all, dude. It was a well-fought game. These guys were going all out, man. Like I seen LeBron, man. God dang, man, LeBron. That dude is just getting younger and younger, man. Oh. That in game, that last game, watching LeBron, and then I think Anthony Davis had a really good game too. Like those two together, man, it's like it's like the fountain of youth, man, with LeBron James. I can't get over just watching that guy. The way he plays, the way he makes everybody else better. I don't know, man. It was fun to watch it. It hurt the eyes because of the weird colors on the court and everything. But ultimately, man, these guys gave it all they had, and they had a point to prove, and they laid it all out there. And I really appreciate that as a fan. I think it was really hard fought game.
The in-season tournament was a success. It made a lot of revenue. The viewership was up. Guys really played some serious ball. I wanted to finish by telling you this one stat. The bench, the Pacers have 10 players on the books who make less than $3 million in salary this season.
Good for them.
Three of those guys are on two-way contracts. So the $500,000 per player to the winner of the tournament would have been a lot of money for them.
Sure.
The loser got $200,000.
Yeah, $200K.
Still is good money for these guys that I'm referring to.
That they would have been playing through the season anyways, you know.
So I respect that. But what that tells you is the talent gap in the NBA it may not be what we think it is.
No, it's not. You're right. You're absolutely right.
A team like that, and they can make it to the championship game, and they put up even though you're a Laker fan, you gotta know the boys didn't go away.
No, I mean, I was watching that game. I think in the third quarter they had got into within 6, and then I think they started the fourth quarter, and then they kind of took off and ran with it. But that was just the brute effort, and just LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Just AD was balling out. I mean, he was unstoppable. But yeah, there was a couple of times cutting close into that. I was like, hey, they're about to make a run. And you know they kind of fought them off. I think they got in within 6 or 8. They kind of stayed there back and forth for a while. I think they hit a couple of threes. Guys that showed up, I was like, man, Indiana's about to. They're good. They might even got closer than that, if I'm not mistaken. They might have gotten within 4 or 6 in that third quarter, but yeah, they kind of took off in that fourth quarter. They ended the fourth quarter and just kind of ran away with it. I think I stopped watching after probably like there was like 2 or 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I watched it all the way to the end. I liked it. I thought it was some good ball. I liked the in-season tournament, and I think the NBA did a great job there. Red, I gotta tell you something though. The colored courts aren't going away, dog.
God, man.
Yeah.
I'm about to put some like 3D glasses or something, man. Something, man. That hurts my eyes, man. You remember when, like, who was it, like Boise State used to play with that blue field? Was it Boise State?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I used to hate watching that, man. I still hate watching that. All these different colors. But those courts, man. Golly, man. Those colors are just. It
ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. Red, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, come back. We're going to do it again. Big Red, we couldn't have done this without you, brother man, and we appreciate you.
I'm going to leave you with this.
Hey, thanks for having me. Y'all have a good one.